this in the feed for you. There you go, Ryan. There's a link to our feed.
All right, so I can throw that on the website.
Everybody watching us live, welcome. We're just setting up for the Apple TV announcement. Of course, there'll probably be an Apple phone and a few other announcements that go with that. Hang with us here. We're just putting it out on social media.
So if I drop that link in there, that doesn't. If I put that link like into my HTML or whatever, does it just show it, or do they have to press a link to get?
Well, I'm using the embed software or code that you can get by sharing it on. Look at that YouTube page, put on there. All right, we're just finishing up here. Welcome to people who are slowly kind of rolling in.
2 people watching. Hello,
Let's
2
start.
people. That isn't us, right? It's like actually
Shit.
2 other people.
Well, it may be one of them, maybe you, but I haven't even put it up on my site yet.
Okay, so what's up with hearing you in the background constantly? Because we're not going to be able to pull that off.
On my end, on the page, it all works fine.
No, but I'm saying I can hear you. I mean, like I'm hearing the replay of the show again.
You gotta mute your feed on your YouTube browser page.
Like pause it? Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I did. Is that? Can you hear me?
All right.
Okay, cool. Very good.
All right. Let's just kind of finish up the last few details. Elias is coming in.
And where can I grab the embed stuff?
Right below, we look at share. Yeah, Elias here.
So you set this up through your
Hello.
Hello, Elias. Welcome.
Hey guys.
We are live right now. Just went live a moment ago. And
Cool.
Apple just went live. Let me adjust
Oh,
the
really?
volume level there. And recenter that image. If you're watching our live feed, just bear with me here. We'll have the video back up in a moment.
It's a beautiful thing. The Alligator Hour and Joshua Harmony's own unique interpretation of wonderful music. It is 60 minutes long. It broadcasts exclusively on Beats One on Apple Music. It exists.
All right,
on replay for
there we go.
Connect on Apple Music.
So you will be able to hear the keynote speeches and our voiceover commentary as we cover this. So I'll just re-drop in our images and we will be ready to roll. So as we do this, you guys see that the first companies come out saying they're making an exclusive content for the new Apple TV, and it's called from Fashion Network, called Made to Measure. Sounds like a fashion show. Reading the details here, this may not be a company that knows anything about what's happening with Apple TV, but is just trying to cash in on the news of the day by getting their name out there.
I'm sure Apple's has lined up a lot of partners to at least attempt to get something out of this.
Maybe. There'll be a lot of other companies, too, trying to line up and get out there. So, we should be live. Yep, we are. Welcome to everybody. It's great to see so many people here. Started rolling on the stream. And we should be all set to roll. Of course, we have Ryan from the Streaming Advisor and Elias from AFTV News joining us today. So, welcome, guys.
Oh, man. I hope this is exciting. I hope this is exciting. That'd be so cool if we got to really see some good stuff for our first time out there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see everything they announce. One of the other rumors out right now is that there will not be the typical October event, that everything that Apple is going to announce is going to drop today. Not sure how much I believe that. You never know with Apple. It really could be, honestly, both, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge potential for the amount of stuff that could come out today. We're obviously going to see the new iPhones. That's going to be the big one, and we're definitely expecting the new Apple TV. I mean, I'd be shocked if that didn't come out, but
yeah, I'll be shocked if there's no Apple TV today. You never know with them though. Elias, did you get a link to the live stream for your feed?
Yeah, I'm setting that up right now.
Okay.
Tweeting that out.
As we kick back here, let me grab our little list of anticipated rumors. We can kind of run down here, and maybe we could just start with a thumbs up, thumbs down. Gaming, or at least casual gaming, will be the main focus, I should say, main focus of the new Fire TV. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you guys say?
Well, I say thumbs up. I'm sure that it'll be a major focus because at least so many of the rumors have circulated around that.
Yeah, major focus. Oh, sorry, main focus. I don't know, but definitely a major bullet point. Apple kind of likes to summarize things up in 3 big bullet points. That's kind of what they did with the very first iPhone release, and they kind of did that with the watch. And so this is kind of the even though we've had an Apple TV for quite a while now, it's always been, quote, a hobby. And so, they've never really taken the product seriously. It's always kind of just been a way to get iPhone content onto a TV, essentially. But this will kind of be the first real Apple TV. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same kind of tent poles, they call it, the 3 major points. And one of those might definitely be gaming.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just wonder if they're really going to be able to pull off casual gaming. A lot of people have tried to take the idea of casual gaming from your phone or tablet to the big screen of the TV in the living room without a lot of success so far. It's possible to do. Will Apple be able to find the magic mix? They have a history of doing that, but I am hesitant to say that they will be able to do it. It's, for some reason, people have not been very interested in casual gaming on their TV. Seems like if you want to be gaming, you're going to go all in and buy one of the major gaming systems. But the Fire TV, the Roku, the Ouya, and so many others have just not been able to make a profit off of casual gaming in the living room.
Well, I think that if you think about it, Roku throws the games on there almost as an afterthought, while Fire TV actually made a real investment. I keep wondering if part of the problem is simply this push that you need to go buy a separate controller. And one of the things that came out last week was that the new possible theoretical remote for the Apple TV would allow you to play the games on it without having a separate remote, separate game controller. So I think that tamps things down a lot. When someone says, "Oh, you can play Sonic the Hedgehog or this, that, and the other," not being able to play it with the remote or having very limited control kind of annoys people, I think. So, if there's a way to do the casual games at another level with the actual Apple TV remote, it might make a big difference.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they pull off, if they're able to pull this off. I mean, people are going to keep knocking on it. Gaming is big money. There is money to be made here if you can pull that off. The question is, will they be able to pull off something that can get people to drop money on casual gaming, or at least, you know, at $200 convince people to buy a casual gaming device over a, excuse me, sorry on the live feed, I had the wrong image up, over a Roku, or excuse me, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One. Yeah, they're more money, but not that much more money, to be honest with you.
Well, I've really never gotten the impression that any of these guys thought that they were competing with PlayStation. Sometimes the stories about it will say that, like Apple's trying to trade into Sony's PlayStation, but I mean, if they come out today and say, with this casual gaming we're offering, this is better than God of War. I mean, you don't even need to get, you never need to buy another high-end first-person shooter again because you can play Angry Birds on the Apple TV. I don't think that's going to be their push.
You could say, oh, we're not competing with them, but the reality is when you get into living room gaming, you're competing with people who also are in living room gaming. That's Nintendo, that's Sony, and Microsoft really right now. And you can pretend you're not competing, but in the end, you really are. I mean, just look at the Fire TV, the Roku. You may say Roku is not now making a main focus, but when the Roku 3 first came out and they put the motion controller in there, that was a big selling point on their side.
The thing is that... Do you want to say something, Elias? So I was trying to give you a chance.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, we're definitely going to see gaming as an aspect of the Apple TV, and that's for a fact. And all of these, ARM-based kind of, TV boxes will have gaming just because why not? All of these apps that people are creating for the tablets and the mobile phones, they've all got great games, so it's going to be very easy to include that on the on these streaming boxes. But the question is, are they gonna really revolutionize gaming in any significant way? Something that would actually threaten the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, that I find hard to believe. I don't know, I don't see anything. I don't think they should focus on that too much, because this box is not going to be a gaming box first. Everybody's kind of putting it up as a contender to the main consoles, but that's probably not going to be the focus.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But let's kind of keep moving along here on the list. Third-party apps, thumbs up, thumbs down. Will it happen?
I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they'd be crazy not to at this point, just because that's the biggest thing missing from the current generation Apple TV. So yeah, they'll definitely have that.
I'll say it now. If they don't have third-party apps, it's a dead device. Dead on arrival. Throw it away. Not worth it in the future. I mean, even if they come out with a streaming one. Yeah, go ahead, Alice.
I was going to say the only saving grace to not having a true app store would be some major Apple service that other content providers can tap into. Some kind of subscription, like basically the rumored subscription service. If there was an easy way for content creators, or content holders, and the big cable networks, for anybody to actually tap into this kind of Apple TV service, then maybe they can get by without an app store, because there's still a way for people to get content, at least, video content into the device. But yeah, no, they're definitely gonna have it. I mean, it's silly even to not talk about it.
Yeah, it'll be, even if they don't have a third-party app store, they'll still be able to come out there and sell a lot of devices because it's Apple. But in the long run, I mean, third-party apps are the ability to keep up with what's happening here and now. And if Apple can't, a year from now, I mean, you look at Sling TV, still not on there. Hundreds of great apps are on the Fire TV, on the Roku, and on the Chromecast are not there. If they don't offer the ability for developers to easily get their apps on there, they're just going to fall behind. Even if today they're on par, if they came out with every app that's on the Roku and on the Fire TV this very moment, they would fall behind very quickly again.
I have to wonder if they are, you talk about Sling TV. I mean, Apple all this time didn't allow for things, for Amazon on their device. So I wonder if they're going to let maybe more things out there, yet not anything that competes directly with them. Like I could imagine them dropping Pluto TV on there, or
So
something along those lines, but maybe not. If they really want to do a live TV function sort of thing, that they wouldn't put it on there. Because I mean, Sony hasn't put any. The Sony PlayStation doesn't have a Sling TV app either,
that
because
is
they've
a
got their own deal.
good point there. That is Apple TV not allowing Sling TV on there for the purpose of saving it for their own streaming service that is widely anticipated not to come out at this event, and maybe not even this year now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Because I mean, it certainly isn't because Sling TV didn't want to be involved. They want to be everywhere. I mean, it's on the iPad and all. I mean, you can even AirPlay it, but
True.
But I think that's part of the reasoning.
I do wonder too if they're doing what maybe HBO Now is doing around and seeing who will pay them almost to get their Sling TV on different devices in a particular order. But at this point, it's like it's everywhere else. The only major device that Sling TV is not on, from my understanding, now that Chromecast support has been announced for the near future, is the Apple TV. And, there's a flip side to this. Maybe they knew, maybe Apple came in and said, hey, you know what? This is a pretty demanding app, and it is. It doesn't run very well on older Roku models. Hey, we got this brand new Apple TV coming out, in September, October. Why don't you wait, put it out on that, and you won't have to dumb down or recode your app to make it work on our older box.
Well, it's Apple. I almost wonder if, let's say they go ahead and roll this out. I think that they're going to do some things that make people feel good about using it. That seems to be one of the things that Apple does, is they make people excited to use their products. Pretty much everything but Apple Music.
Well, we got, just before the event's going to start, let's get one last one of these in real quick. Universal Search. Thumbs up, thumbs down. That's the last major one that's holding on.
I think thumbs up.
Yeah. They'll, I think there'll be a heavy Siri component to this, and Siri without Universal Search is kind of silly. So that there'll definitely be, basically, I think a big focus on the Universal Search with a Siri component built in there.
True universal search, or the faux universal search we see at events like the Fire TV, the Roku only do certain apps.
I think it'll be the certain apps.
That's tough because true universal search is not trivial to pull off. The Fire TV has the voice search, and it actually does not have true universal search. With the Fire TV, at least, the content providers have to basically upload a database essentially to Amazon servers so that Amazon can include that into their search. And so basically, to have true universal search, you've got to have some type of connection into all of these services that is kind of nearly real time being updated. So it's not trivial to do true all encompassing universal search. So I think it'll still be somewhat limited to only the top apps like Netflix, and if Amazon's included, if the Amazon instant video is included, that'll be in there in the universal search. But will you be able to use universal search to say bring up anything on YouTube or anything within a smaller no-name app? I kind of doubt it.
Right. And see, Roku's the same way. Roku has numerous. I think they've got 2022 things. Yeah, it's about to start rolling.
It is. I think we just their live feed just froze. Don't worry, we do have a backup plan here for our YouTube followers. Let's refresh this page and see if it comes up here. There we go.
Yeah, even on my side, I've got it on the Apple TV, and we just had the logo up there. So there he is. There's Tim Cook, the master of ceremonies.
And we are about to make some
We do apologize to our viewers there.
across
That's there.
several of our
We
product lines.
for everybody joining us in,
So we have a
welcome.
big day ahead,
We are
and
doing
there's no
live
time
coverage
for
of the
updates.
Apple special
So I'd
event,
like to
where it's
get
widely
right in
anticipated
and
that an
talk
Apple TV will
about
be announced.
Apple
It's
Watch.
not anticipated to see
Yeah.
this long rumored streaming service, though we may be
Just a few
surprised.
months ago,
We
made
got
Apple
a lot of
Watch
other Apple devices
available
here
for
maybe to go
customers
through.
around
They're
the
talking
world.
about the Apple Watch at the
It's
moment.
already changing
We will be
their
covering
daily
everything, but
lives,
primarily the
and
Apple
they love
TV.
using it. They love how quick and easy it is.
So
to respond
here
and
is the big
receive
question as we go
messages
through the
and
Apple
phone
Watch.
calls
What is
and notifications
what
from your
device is
favorite
in
app.
the greatest danger
They're
of a new
amazed
Apple TV? Is it the
at how
Roku, the Fire
Siri on the
TV,
watch
NVIDIA Shield,
lets them do so
Chromecast?
much
What device
with just
could
their
potentially
voice,
face
like get directions or send a
severe
quick
market
message.
share loss, we'll call it?
With Apple Pay,
I think it's
customers are
Roku.
loving
I
that
think
they can purchase
I love Roku. They're kind of the underdog. They've always been that way. They're the underdog that's on top, which is awesome. But they're a small company. They don't have the power of Apple. They don't have the power of Amazon, and so I fear for them the most, unfortunately. I think Amazon's just fine. The Fire TV is doing pretty well. They're big enough, the big deals, but Roku, it's the content. Roku has great hardware. They have a great device, but I don't know how they can, if they can pull the content in like the big guys can.
Well, they pull in the content because everybody likes to work with them. Unless Amazon pulls out, I mean, they're going to have all of those apps. Like I said before, they're the mall. They just say, hey, you can have an app on here. You can have an app. And they're like Oprah. You get an app. You get an app. You get your video service. Even the small ones, the big ones. So I don't think it'll be a content issue. Where it could come in is if people start perceiving Roku as behind the times. But right now, Roku has become Xerox. People will say, oh, an Apple TV is like a Roku, an Apple version of the Roku. And if it's cemented that way, all they have to do is roll out something new with some new features, and I think people will stick with it.
My real fear is the NVIDIA Shield. It's new, it's kind of fragile right now a little bit, and its primary focus is gaming along with streaming, which everybody rumors that's what the Apple TV is going to be, primarily gaming with streaming alongside of it. So it seems like they could really eat into the NVIDIA Shield market. NVIDIA Shield, again, has a smaller group of apps or available streams out there compared to the Fire TV and the Roku. So that's who I think could be in the greatest danger. Kind of a parallel question. What is it that Apple could come out with that the Roku, the Fire TV, and so forth couldn't replicate in a month or two?
The home sharing stuff. They've been working on that for a long time. Right now Roku certainly doesn't have anything like that. And, we just saw with Higgins that Fire TV has some capability, but something integrated in that way that a whole lot of vendors get in on, that could be tough.
Now, in addition to these
What do you think, Elias?
and other built-in features, developers have been hard at work.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are already over
thought about
10,000
that.
watch apps on the App Store.
If I think of something, I'll pop in.
The reason I was thinking about that is, for example,
And now, with
the
native
Fire
apps,
TV came out with
developers can
voice
do
search with a
more.
couple months. It was on the Roku
Apps
app,
can
and then a few
display
months
video,
after that,
they can access
they released,
hardware,
or almost a
like
year,
the microphone,
a new
speaker,
remote with
and
a
health
voice search
sensor.
on it. And it just seems like a lot of
can
these
show you a
features
few
are going back and
right
forth
now.
so quick with the Fire
Facebook
TV and the
Messenger is
Roku
coming to the watch.
having most of the things that Apple TV is expected to add.
Facebook Messenger
I
allows
wonder
users
if
to
they're
send
going to be
text,
able
send
to
audio messages,
stand out, to be
and
honest with
share
you.
their location right from their wrist.
If who's going to be able
Night
to stand out?
translate.
The Apple TV
One of
is
my
going to be able to
personal
stand out
favorites.
enough that they
Just
won't be
speak into the
able, there won't be
microphone and see and hear
an
translation
app or
in over
service or
90
feature
languages.
that can't be copied by Fire
And
TV,
GoPro.
etc.
The wrist is
Well,
an
like I said, I think
ideal
it's what it's going to be
location
is that
to
it'll
control
be
your
a
GoPro. And
really
now the
good
app
streaming
turns the
device,
watch into
just
a
in general. I
viewfinder.
mean,
No matter
obviously,
where your camera's mounted,
with that
you'll always
third-party
know where
apps
it's pointed and you'll
allowed,
never miss that
which
important
will
shot.
bring it up to code with everything
And
else.
then airstrip.
But I really do. I think they're
This is an
push. I
app
think
that
they're trying to think of
for
outside the
physicians,
box if
and I
this
think it's a
home
great
automation thing is
example of
real.
just how far
Because
developers
I mean,
can
I
go
think you're going to
with
see
native
somebody
apps.
sitting up there going,
But rather than
"Siri,
describe it for you,
turn down the
I'd
lights.
like to
Let's set the
bring
mood."
up
Like,
Dr. Cameron
okay, let
Powell,
me set the mood.
co-founder of
Something like
Airstrip,
that. I
to
mean,
demo it
if
for
that
you
happens,
now.
I'm going to laugh. But But I think that that's going to be their point. That they're going to push that. You can turn on your stereo. You can do this. You can do that. I think they're gonna show a lot of features that people associate with things like the Xbox. Siri, show me security cameras. I mean, things like that, and then you'd be pulling it up on your TV like Batman. Like something along those lines would be really different than anything else out there. You know what I mean? And when you talk about your business applications, how Apple is big in businesses, for presentation. I mean, if it could become something that you could put in a convenience store and then use that as a security device, or just things like that. I think you see something completely integrated that way. Security systems, coffee machines, whatever smart devices you've got. That would be different than anybody else right now.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I kind of find it unlikely that we will see something like that, to be honest with you. I got a feeling that maybe the Amazon Echo is a closer example of what their integrated home experience may be, and if that is true, it's just once again Apple playing catch up. Would that pull people back into the Apple universe? That couldn't be copied by Fire TV, by Roku very quickly.
I don't think Roku's going that direction at all. Roku is all about their interface. Getting the interface on as many things as they can. More TVs and things like that.
Well, again, welcome to everybody who's jumping in. I see we're continuing to grow on our following. We are doing live coverage of the Apple announcement today, primarily focused on the Apple TV. We will be covering the whole press conference and touching on anything that's roughly cord-cutting related along the way. So thank you for everybody coming here. If you are looking for just a feed of the Apple event without commentary, we threw that in the chat right there. Go to apple.com/apple-events, and that'll take you right to a live feed there. One of the things that I'm kind of shocked by here, there's no new Fire TV before the Apple. Is it that Amazon is not ready, and for some reason they're just out of stock and doing sales on the stick at the moment?
Apple Watch.
Did you see the FCC news this morning that I posted?
I did. That they when was that actually filed? I didn't see that part of it.
Well, it hit the FCC yesterday. But it's been going through the FCC. The device has since at least June, I think. I saw some dates because the whole process takes a while, but when it actually makes it public, and it's not even public because there's the confidentiality request in there that is basically keeping back most of the what do you call it, the documentation, the photos, all that stuff is not available. But basically you need that semi-public filing before you can release the device. So the fact that we're seeing that released now means that we're probably within a month from that.
Amazon, I almost wonder if Amazon wants to be like, you remember when Sony and Sony and Microsoft were kind of looking at what was the other doing, and so after PlayStation announced all these various features, Xbox would say, "Oh, well, what we're going to do it like this and like this," which is different than they did, or and vice versa. I almost wonder if Amazon's got a feature list ready, but if something really interesting comes up with the Apple TV, that they might come along and counter it. And say, well, we do this better, something along those lines.
It'd be interesting. I really expected the Fire TV to come out and say, here, we're coming out a week beforehand, a few days beforehand, because we want to steal some press here. We want everybody to be comparing the new Apple TV to the new Fire TV and force that side-by-side comparison. It's possible that Amazon's not ready. I find that hard to believe at this moment. They got the... I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to put that announcement out earlier. Maybe they have a hiccup and so forth, and they just didn't get there.
I think as long as they, they being Amazon, release the new Fire TV before the holidays, you're going to kind of get that comparison regardless. When the new device comes out, you're not, all the news outlets aren't necessarily comparing it immediately to what's out there. You know, they're kind of covering just the device itself, and then they start to, you know, kind of the secondary coverage is where they start to compare it to current devices and that kind of stuff. So, you know, and I think Amazon's big enough to where they know that if when they release a new Fire TV, it's going to get its own coverage, and then it's going to be compared to the new Apple TV. So yeah, I don't think they're worried, and I don't think, you know, there's any concern that they didn't release it first or at the same time.
The interesting thing will be, you know how when a new product comes out, they say, yeah, this product is a fill-in-the-blank killer. This product is a Roku killer. You know, this is the Chromecast is a Roku killer. And so if they do announce the device today, I wonder what they'll say. You know, will they say it's a Roku killer? Will they say, you know, it's going to display, you know, it's going to come back, you know, all the headlines have been Fire TV outselling Apple TV. Will they say instead, oh, now, you know, now they're on their way, they're gonna knock Fire TV back where it belongs? I mean, you know, that sort of thing. I'd just be curious to hear the kind of spin that comes out of it. Are you guys excited to see the new brown watch band? That's pretty exciting, eh?
You know, I was just thinking that, you know, it's kind of weird to see that their big announcement is new watch bands. You know.
Oh, they always start these events off with the smaller news. You know, they always end with the one more thing. Not always, but it's always the big stuff is always saved to the end. You know, so I honestly, you know, it's going to be telling whether the Apple TV comes out before the iPhone or not. Because if they save the Apple TV to the end, then that means they're really pushing it. It's their big finish. But, you know, I kind of expect the Apple TV to be first and then end with the big, you know, the iPhone. But then again, and now that I actually say it out loud, this is kind of the you know, it's the iPhone S, so it's like it's not the new iPhone, it's just the slightly better version of the existing iPhone. You know, you're not going to see that many big changes. You're going to see a new camera, you're going to see a faster processor, but the actual look of the phone is going to be pretty much the same. So you know, now that I actually say it all out loud, I actually think the iPhone will come first and then the Apple TV, because it is a new device.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I agree with you that the later it comes out in this press conference, the better for anybody who's excited for an Apple TV at this moment. There's been a lot of speculation. Will Apple just kind of slip it out there since they don't have this rumored streaming service ready at the moment, all set to go? But we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah,
going back to what
go ahead.
I was going to say, going back to what Ryan was saying earlier about, you know, what is this going to be the blank killer of? And I just wanted to say that I don't think there is, in the set-top box world, there is no dominant player yet. So there, you know, you're not. I don't think we're going to see any kind of headlines like the Apple TV is the Fire TV killer or the Roku killer or that kind of stuff, because those, you know, while those boxes are great, they still haven't kind of, you know, captivated most of the consumer world. If anything, we might see, you know, what Apple's going to be shooting for is going to be, this is the cable subscription killer. You know, if anything, that's what they're hoping for. But I don't think they're really going after any specific box.
Apple, like the companies themselves, are never the ones that make those sort of declarations. It's always the media in general. They say, you know, like when the Chromecast came out, they said this is an Apple TV killer because now you can do AirPlay without Apple TV. You know, things like that. That was at least the take, because they didn't quite understand what they were talking about. But in general, like I said, yeah, Apple would never say, now we're going to get Roku, because everybody wants to act like they don't even need to mention their competition because they're almost irrelevant. You know, it's sort of like a little psychological game. They just talk about them. Unless they accept that Amazon did shoot at the iPad a lot. But
speaking of the iPad, it looks like we're about to get the iPad announcement. Let's jump in here a little bit and listen to what they may announce here, see what the big deal will be this time.
As we brought more
yeah, I'm definitely interested in what's going to come out of the iPad, because that's a big content video consuming device. You know, they're showing right here that the picture on the screen is somebody watching video essentially. So, you know, next to the Apple TV, this is their biggest cord cutting device essentially.
I love the iPad. I've had
We're
2 of them
partnering
now.
with the world's leading enterprise
Oh
companies.
yeah. Big question is,
IBM and
are they going to
Cisco,
come out with a bigger
to
iPad Pro,
redefine and
like a
transform the way
larger
people
screen
work in
device
the
that'll,
enterprise.
you know, kind of replace a little mini TV that you could just kind of
As we
take around with
brought
you?
more and more
I
capability
think
and
that'd
more
be
and
an
more
It's
power
actually
to the
awesome
iPad,
traveling thing.
we've been amazed.
It's possible, but I
at
doubt
the
it's going to be
new
14.5.
and
Like a
unexpected
few people
things
said,
that our
I saw
customers have done
13
with
and
the
12
iPad.
inches. It'd be interesting to see.
So we asked ourselves,
Here we go. Let's see.
how could we take iPad further? Today, we have the biggest news in
Oh, they're using the word biggest.
iPad.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see it. I would help a little bit. Flash guess 14, 13, 12.
And I am thrilled to show it to you.
Here we go.
I think 12.
And a forklift will drive it on stage at the moment. Okay.
Maybe it'll. I'd love to see an actual
All
iPad.
right,
as
here we
big as
go.
the,
Let's just
things.
let the stream run for a moment here and let the. Is that a curved screen? Are we seeing a curved iPad?
No, that's the Earth or something.
No, I don't think so.
Don't think that was.
Oh gosh, I hope not. Three buttons.
That doesn't really show us anything. No idea how big that's going to be.
Oh, he'll someone
Okay,
will come
what does that look like? 12 inches? 13?
This is the iPad Pro.
We'll find out soon.
It's all relative.
Definitely big.
It's the most capable and powerful iPad
To
we've
them, it
ever
looks like it's as big
created.
as the room.
It
So
is
you know.
chock full of
There it is.
amazing advanced
Hold on, let's see what he
technology
says.
and innovation. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite Phil Schiller up. Phil?
As he comes out, I will say, I've been saying, why do devices not be a little wider?
Good morning,
They keep
everyone.
getting thinner. I'll be fine with a little wider.
I would love less breakable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely look like they kept
I am
the
so
same
excited
aspect
to
ratio.
tell
They're
you
not
about
going
this
with the
incredible
more
new
widescreen kind
iPad
of
Pro.
cinema
It has a
cinema
huge
view.
screen, the
That was one
biggest
thing
we've
that people
ever built
were wondering.
in an iOS
Because I mean,
device.
this thing, I mean, at this
It has
size,
more
it
power
makes a
and
pretty
performance
decent, you know,
than
kitchen
any iOS
TV
device we've ever
type of
made
device that you
either.
can just kind of take around
Let's start
and
with that
really
display.
enjoy your
Why
content
make an
on your
iPad
video
with
content.
a bigger
Yeah, if it comes with
display?
the, you know, the Apple
larger
cover
display,
stand,
well, think
like
about the iPad
some
from the
previous
very
versions
beginning.
have,
It's a
you
magical
throw
piece
that in your
of glass you
backpack
hold in your
and
hands.
you get
You can touch the
wherever
software.
you're
You can
going,
touch
and there
the
you go.
web
There's a
pages we serve.
13,
You can touch
14
the
inch
books we read. You can
TV
touch
for
the
your kids to
documents
watch.
we create.
Wow.
And it can do
That's
things
like the
that
size
a
of a
smartphone
picture
can't
book.
do because it doesn't
Their
have
their
the
reading
physical
apps are going to look really cool on
It's
that.
thin and
Like
light
you know,
enough
because
to
like,
hold all day
and you can do
long.
like a Where's
And it can
Waldo
do
or
things
something like
that
that
a
with your
notebook
kids,
can't
with
do.
something like that, and it would be
So with
pretty
a bigger screen
immersive.
iPad, your TV shows and movies are more cinematic.
Now I expect that we're going to see a whole lot
the games
about
we play are more immersive
force
and powerful.
touch and things like that.
And an iPad is always a multi-touch device. So now with the bigger iPad
It's like the
Pro,
size
you
of
can
a
have
newspaper, like a
full-size
folded
software
newspaper.
keyboard. So you can type
Hey, what's a
your
newspaper?
documents
Hold on,
straight
Ryan.
from the keyboard.
Let's
And
hear a
keyboards
little
can
more
do
what
many
he's saying.
things, like be an amazing musical instrument. Yeah, somebody likes music. We can do something on an iPad that you can't do on a notebook. And the new multitasking features in iOS 9, slide over, split view, picture in picture, were designed with this iPad Pro in mind. They make it so much more productive and capable. So how
There you go,
big is
13
the
inches.
screen on the iPad Pro? It's
Essentially.
12.9 inches on that diagonal.
I guess that's where you get all the
Why
different
12.9
sizes,
inches?
12.9
Well, I'll
of
tell you a little secret about
screen
its size.
space and
Let's
13
put
inches in
next to it
total.
Our previous largest iPad, that's iPad Air 2. If you look at the width of the iPad Pro, it is the same as the height of the iPad Air.
That is
And then
impressive.
we take that height and we make a 4:3 ratio. And now you have an iPad big enough to run your full iPad
It's a question.
Air
I have
apps
just
with more
downgraded to a
room side by
6-inch
side.
tablet. What
It
do
is
you
an
guys
incredible
currently use?
display. is
Got the
2732 by
iPad
2048 pixels.
Air.
Do the math. It's 5.6 million
Yeah, I use an
pixels.
iPad primarily, and then I've
Far
got
more
kind of a
than on any
secondary
iOS device
7-inch
before. In fact,
Amazon
that's
tablet,
even more pixels
just as
than
a
the
little
15-inch MacBook
little
Pro with
throw
Retina
around
display.
device.
It is a
But
beautiful
yeah, I mean this
display.
bigger screen is definitely something I'd be interested in.
I'm not so sure that's a selling point for me, but I can see why it is a selling point. I have a Nexus 7 and a Fire TV 6-inch
Your
HD.
documents will be full size.
The 5.6 million pixels is a shot at Amazon, who has been pushing the higher pixel count on their Fire tablets recently.
This is the most advanced display we have
The thing
ever
about
built.
pixels is,
It took
you know,
some incredible
you really
innovation
do
in
get to a
technology.
point where a
For
person
example,
can't really
to
tell the
use
difference.
The technology that we
There's a little
created
cheat
in the
too when you make
iMac
the
with
screen
Retina
bigger. Of course, you're
5K
gonna have more
display and its
pixels, right?
timing controller
Right.
To drive all those pixels quickly. We made it look beautiful with our photo
But
alignment technique.
I
which
bet
integrates
one of the buzz
on-axis
things will be,
contrast ratio.
5.6 million. You'll
It's
start
made
seeing that
the
all
best
over the place,
oxide
even if
TFT
people don't quite
material,
understand
which means we can
why.
light up the pixels
Let's throw this out to the
quickly
chat
with
room.
uniform color and brightness.
What do you guys think?
And for the first time in an
13-inch
Apple display,
iPad?
there's a
Would it
variable
pique your
refresh rate.
interest, or
That
is
means
it
that
just
if
too
things aren't
large for
moving
you?
quickly on the display, we can slow it down and save energy.
While we do that, let
This
me
is an
pull up
amazing
the
display.
poll.
And inside it, something even more amazing, the chip that powers it. This is the new A9X chip. It's our
Wasn't the
third
A9 also
generation
in their
64-bit chip.
the
We've
Air
doubled
laptop recently?
bandwidth to memory. We've doubled the read and
Don't
write
remember.
performance
I
of flash storage.
didn't jump all
It
over
is
that
so
one.
fast.
I'm not in the
How
market
fast
for a
is it?
$3,000
The new
laptop at the moment.
A9X is 1.8 times faster than the A8X it replaces. This is desktop class performance. To compare what our team has done, our chip team is just on fire. Over the last 5 years, they've grown performance in the iPad 22
Well, if they put the A9 in the iPad, I wonder if they would put an A9
graphics
in.
tasks are even faster.
possible
We've doubled
Apple
the
TV.
performance of graphics
Greg
over the
throws out. It
A8X.
definitely piques his
And over the
interest.
last 5 years, this
It'll be,
is unbelievable. Graphics performance
Be
has gone up
interesting to see.
360
I'm assuming they're
times.
keeping the smaller iPads on the market. What the breakdown of the
biggest
sales is.
jump in this year alone. You combine that fast hardware with great software, like in iOS 9, our Metal libraries for writing games and applications directly to that graphics chips, and you get incredible performance. But here's another
Yes, they
way
didn't
to
put
think about
iPad
how
4
fast
on there. It
iPad
went from
Pro
iPad
is.
2 to iPad
It is
Pro.
faster
They're clearly
than
eliminating
80% of the
numbers
portable
from
PCs that shipped
iPads
in the last
and
12 months.
their laptops and desktops. All are going to Pro,
That's at
Air,
CPU tasks.
so forth,
At
line up.
graphics tasks, it's
But
faster than
you never know
90%
which
of them.
model you're going to get.
So,
Yeah,
when you
I think
run
that's kind
tasks
of
in
a
applications that we all love to use,
deliberate
they get
tactic.
incredibly
You
fast.
don't.
For example,
If they just keep
iMovie.
labeling them by
Running
numbers, then you'll
iMovie
kind of know
on
that
an
you've got
iPad Pro
an older
delivers
device or a newer
desktop class
device. They just want you to go in and say, "I want the
iMovie
iPad,"
now edits
and
3
that's what you get.
streams of 4K
And then if
video
2 years later
simultaneous. That's
you have an
incredible
older
performance.
device, you just
And it's going to
you
enable
don't know it. You just
new
still have the
classes
iPad.
of applications for iPad.
It's a
For
tactic
example,
that
check this
Roku
out.
is copying right
This is
now by
AutoCAD
re-releasing the Roku
360
2 and 3 with
Autodesk.
new specs, new
It's an incredibly
details,
powerful
but no new
application.
number.
This image has 320,000
That
objects.
really does
in wireframe
confuse the
mesh.
Roku users. I mean, if you
You
look at
can
message
zoom in,
boards
pan
and chat
around
rooms and
it
things like that,
with
people are
buttery
like,
60
well, I have the
frames per
Roku
second
2.
smoothness.
And it's like, well, which
Something
Roku
you
2 do you
can't
have? This
do
person's
on
like,
a
I don't know.
PC.
I mean, it just has a 2 on it.
Now
Yeah,
that
and there's
power comes with
somebody has to
all-day
explain,
battery life. 10 hours of
well,
battery life.
technically, there was a
So
Roku
we've got an
2
amazing
2 years
display,
ago, but
Yeah.
the new
incredible
Roku 2, I mean, and it
performance,
just,
great battery life.
It
I
doesn't.
like new code.
Yeah, the new numbers is beneficial to people like us for that kind of
So,
situation. The Roku 2 has
we
no
thought
real
this display
difference other than
deserves a
being
great
faster.
sound system.
Roku 3
And
with
so for the
voice search
first
versus no
time
voice search
ever,
does
an
make
Apple
difference.
product, we now
I
have
do
a
love the fact that they're showing the
4-speaker
Martian
audio
over and
system.
over. I wonder how
And
much
it
they paid for it.
automatically
I love
balances
the
the
book,
left
so
and
I'm
the
great.
right,
I
depending
kind of
on
like seeing
how you're
the movie on
holding
all
the
these
iPad.
examples.
And it balances
But,
the frequencies between the top and the bottom.
so 4
dynamically
different
to create a
speakers, huh?
beautiful stereo sound
Yeah, that's a
stage.
big thing. I mean,
And
that's
it puts
a
out 3
big
times the
indicator
audio
that
volume
this
of
device
an
is
iPad
meant
Air
for
2.
video.
You really
As
have to
a
listen to it.
main
It's
feature,
amazing.
because that's one of the biggest
And
complaints
that's
with the
packed
existing
into the
iPad
device.
is,
It's incredibly
yeah,
thin and
it'll
light.
play video, but it's got one little
It's the
dinky
iPad Pro.
speaker,
Let's
and
bring
so it's
in
not really
the
a
iPad
pleasant
Air
experience.
underneath it.
But with this thing, regardless of how you
both
hold it,
amazingly
you've
thin.
always
The
got
iPad Pro is
stereo
just
speakers
6.9
coming out of it because you've got
millimeters
speakers on
thin.
both sides,
The
both in
iPad Air,
portrait mode
6.1.
and in landscape.
Very,
So,
very close. What about
yeah, this
the
is
weight of it?
definitely
Well, here,
this
let's
Pro
bring
is
in
probably
the original first
going to be
iPad.
pushed as
Kind of fun.
a
They're both just around a 1.5
productivity device
pounds,
because you've got the
which is
bigger screen, so you can do more
unbelievable because the iPad
multitasking,
Pro has a 78%
and secondly, a
larger
video
screen
consumption
area.
device.
It has
And think about when they
370
actually.
times more
Ready?
graphics
I was going
power.
to say, is essentially, you can almost
It is
think of this
thin and
as
light
like
enough
an Apple
to
TV
hold
with
all
a
day
screen.
and powerful enough
This is
to
their
take
portable
everywhere.
Apple TV.
Whether you want to watch movies
See
at
people
I wonder-
holding it. I wonder if
edit a
you can really
film
watch a
on
full
location.
episode holding it like that. It seems like it'd
This
be
is an amazing
an
iPad.
awkward
But
way
the
to
story
do it.
doesn't
I bet
stop
there's going
there.
to be some type
Let's go
of
back to
case.
that software
Right there it is. Yep.
It's a
Yeah, you
great
can see it in
keyboard.
this shot.
It dynamically changes as we use
So
different
the
applications. That's how most
cover
of
that
us will
folds up
type
the
on our
magnets
iPad
to
Pro.
make a stand is
But
back.
because we're
I wonder if
enabling
you'll be able to hold it
applications not
vertically in the air if
possible
that stand is
before an
powerful
iPad,
enough. Assuming
sometimes
it's
you like the
Apple, you will be able
convenience
to do
of a
that.
physical keyboard. So we're very
Well,
excited
I'm thinking
to
that,
tell you about a brand new accessory.
let's
wow.
say,
Keyboard.
they do roll out the service. I mean, they'll say, now you can watch all this stuff, all this live TV on your
There we
super
go.
iPad.
That is right there, your portable TV. Next week we'll be talking about Android and Fire TV announcement. Actually,
This is
didn't the Fire
unlike
TV
anything
rumor
you've
just
ever
kill
used
their
before.
large tablet that was rumored?
It's covered in an Apple
Elias?
woven
One of them, yeah,
fabric.
one
That
of
fabric
the
creates cover, but also
the
forms
cut
structure and the
projects
feel
was
of those
supposedly a
keys.
14-inch
And they
tablet.
feel really great
So,
to type on.
but I mean that's just one little
Inside
comment
is
from
a new
one
Apple
person.
dome switch that
So
we pioneered with the MacBook.
I wouldn't
And it works
hold them to
beautifully
that too much.
in this
They'll
great
put a lot
new
of weight
smart
into it,
keyboard.
right?
So how do you
Yeah.
attach or connect the smart
The-
keyboard to your iPad
The thing
Pro?
about this thing, I mean, like, is
But if
it's,
you
I
look
mean,
closely, there are 3 new circles.
it really
along the
is the
side
size of
the
a
iPad Pro.
full-size laptop.
This
And
is a
when you
brand
add
new
the little
connector
keyboard kind of
technology.
thing,
We call
I've
it
never found
the
these
smart
keyboards
connector.
on these sorts of
Carries
devices
power
particularly
and data
great.
and connects magnetically
I'd love to
the
get a
smart
hold of
keyboard.
one, swing by an
So when you
Apple
want to
store and
attach
just
your iPad
see
to
if
the
it
keyboard,
is
you just
responsive enough.
slide
Like,
it on it.
I
And
got a
software
case
in
with a
iOS 9
keyboard, and it's
automatically
not the
adapts
same.
and changes
Yeah, I
because
wonder
it
if
knows
they're
you wanna use
gonna
a physical keyboard versus a
Microsoft
soft
Surface-esque
keyboard. So that's the new smart
setup
keyboard
here. Push it
designed
as
specifically
a
for
laptop.
the iPad
Will we
Pro.
be seeing the Air? Didn't they have a rumor of a larger Air coming out? Maybe this is
So that's
it.
typing. Let's talk about drawing and illustration.
There we go. They're talking about
Customers have
buttons.
created amazing works of art, drawing on their iPads with their fingers. iPad's all about multi-touch, and we will continue to use our hands to interact in amazing ways on iPad. But iPad Pro is going to enable new classes of applications
Oh, okay. That's what those one buttons
that
are.
require even greater precision.
Right, I
than
think
They're
you're a
gonna
little
ever
behind
About a
us.
possible
stylus.
Yeah.
I think you
before.
are.
New level of precision and accuracy
What I'm looking at
that
is a.
requires
Oh,
some
they're just
amazing
introducing a new
innovation.
accessory.
So we're so happy
That's where my
to
stream's
introduce
at.
to
Oh,
you
pencil.
Another brand new accessory specifically for iPad Pro. It looks like this.
It's a stylus. Isn't that when they came out with the iPhone? That was Steve Jobs' big thing.
Apple
There is no
Pencil.
stylus. Your
Yeah,
fingers.
yeah.
And now
And this Apple Pencil
here's
is
an
packed with so much
Apple
amazing
stylus called a
technology.
pencil. Just because
have
we
a
can't
great
call it a
video. I'll
stylus.
tell you all about it now.
It's got the little thing on the end that makes it look like the old erasers.
Touch,
I wonder if that's a
of
number
course,
2 stylus.
is the primary method of interaction with iPad. To enhance what's possible
Man, this is actually worrying me
allow
about an Apple
for a
TV
new level of
announcement because
precision
I mean
with
a new
iPad Pro,
iPad, a new stylus,
designed Apple
and new
Pencil.
iPhones. I mean this is a massive, presentation keynote. If they're
This
also
begins
including a new
by the
Apple TV,
engineering
like
that
You know,
touch
it
subsystems
could go
of the
along with the
display
rumors. I
to
mean,
measure
people
both
did say
finger
that
and
this would be
stylus
a
input on the
major
same
event
plane
because
with
there won't
optimal
be an
accuracy.
October event. That there will be a
When you're
ton
using
of
the
new
pencil,
products,
the
complete
system
refresh
scans
across the
twice as
board.
often, allowing
Even
iPad
rumor of
Pro
some
to capture
new
more points in a
laptops
single
or a
stroke.
desktop somehow. Okay,
Highly responsive sensors built into the tip of
this
Apple
doesn't
Pencil
look. I mean, this looks
work with the
like a
iPad
lot
Pro
of the
display
styluses you can already
to
find on the
detect
market
position,
for iPad and so
force,
forth. Even with the special
and tilt.
sensor inside of it.
I've used a bunch of those. Honestly, none of them really
Force
do
data,
it well.
you can
I mean,
press
this thing is
lightly
going
to get a thin
to
stroke,
knock all of those
or
out
press
just
harder
because
to get a
it's
darker,
it's
bolder
built
stroke.
for the device.
Yeah.
The others have always basically because the others are
Signals
always
emitted from
essentially
two
simulating
locations in the tip calculate
a
the
finger
angle
onto
and
the iPad
orientation
screen.
to to
this
produce
this
broad
stylus,
or
I
shaded
guarantee, is going to be
strokes.
connected to the device in some other way, and
Its
it's
unique
there's
signature
going to be communication
allows it to be
between this
used
stylus and the
simultaneously
iPad
with your
that is
finger.
other than the actual screen itself, the touch
And
panel
with
on the screen.
incredibly low
So
latency,
just that alone
it has a
Will you
response
be
make this
charging
superior.
your
that
stylus?
feels like a true writing or drawing
I bet
instrument.
you will. I mean, if this thing is just a piece of plastic that, I mean, they showed a little like kind of cutout where
Yeah.
there's actually mechanical. Yeah, there you go. USB port. So, or sorry, not
While
USB.
its
Lightning
battery
port
lasts for hours of use,
plug. So you can charge
a
it off of the
lightning
iPad
connector
itself.
lets you
So yeah,
recharge
this thing
by
definitely
plugging
communicates with the
directly
iPad.
into iPad.
I wonder if you'll be able to like change functions via apps
Apple
and things like
Pencil is designed to look and feel like a familiar tool.
It's
Yet with its
definitely
carefully
interesting.
engineered
It's a
technology,
stylus that
working with our
charges.
most advanced
I
multi-touch
wouldn't mind
display,
playing around with that.
it delivers
Nowadays, I
something
don't have the use
extraordinary.
for it I used to, but
Precision
it definitely is an
that actually gives
interesting
you the
step
ability
forward. I know a lot
to
of people
touch a
spend a
single
lot of
pixel.
money. Scott Adams of Dilbert fame, he spent a lot of money to draw on a screen to make making all those comics easier. So that may be, if it is a significantly better stylus, a significantly better way to do art, could be a major impact in
This
the art
Apple
world.
Pencil is absolutely amazing.
Well, earlier when they were
And
showing the,
to get that level
you know,
of low
the guy
latency
was,
so
you know,
it
making the
feels like you're
details and he
drawing
zooms
directly
in.
on the
I mean,
display took
that's
an
cool.
incredible effort
I've
of
always loved the
collaboration
iPad.
between hardware
I'm
and
excited to see
software
them making
design
some new
teams.
innovations.
And they've done a remarkable job. And customers are going to feel it every time they use it. They can
So,
use it
all right.
in built-in apps
Looks
in
like they're kind of
iOS,
wrapping
like our
up
new
here.
Notes app,
What do you think would
where
be
you
the
can
next
draw
device? Are
and
we going to go
diagram directly
laptop,
with Apple
desktop,
Pencil.
iPhone, Apple TV?
Or in
What's
mail,
next?
I'm
where
saying
now with our new
desktop.
markup feature, when someone sends you an attachment,
I don't know
you
if they're
can
going to
draw
include.
and
I don't know.
mark up
I haven't
right
heard
on that
any rumors
attachment and
about
send it on to them.
the Macs
You're going to see new
themselves being included
applications
in
from
this
developers
presentation.
that have
So I
created
think
features
they
that
jump
take
into
full
either Apple
advantage of
TV
this
or iPhone
huge
next.
iPad
My
Pro
money's on
display,
iPhone.
lots of power, and most of all,
We'll wait and
Apple
find out
Pencil.
here.
Like Procreate, an incredible
I want to know the
fine
price
art,
of this
illustration, and
pencil,
drawing
this
application.
Apple
It
Pencil
just comes
essentially, because
alive
I
on
think it's
iPad
going to
Pro.
be
And applications we've not
surprisingly
seen
high.
before, like this.
I bet it's
Because
under
these
100.
premium.
Designed specifically for
You think?
iPad.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Takes
I'm
full
thinking right
advantage
around
of the
100.
display,
Yeah,
that
$99
incredible
just
These
feels
premium
right.
style.
Well, Apple
Yeah, these
Pencil,
premium
one of the
styluses
most
are right around
advanced
that 50 to
technologies
100
we've
price,
ever
and
created.
this one coming from
Simply
Apple,
beautiful.
it's going to have that premium on it. So
We've been
I wouldn't be surprised
lucky
if this
enough
thing's
to have
over
a few
100.
developers
It's
come
over
in, take a
150.
look
I
at the new
think that
iPad
is
Pro
a major
and Apple
detraction
Pencil
from the
and see what's
casual
possible with this
user.
incredible new
Yeah.
technology. So
Yeah.
we'd like to do
It
a
seems
few
like this thing
demos.
is going to be for
And
the
to begin
professional,
with,
not the
it would be
casual.
great
But we'll see.
to have it developed
Yeah, so
from
kind of
just
like
what's
the
possible
their
with
iPad, or not their iPad,
productivity.
the Mac,
And who
the
can
Mac
know better
Pro,
about
the one that
productivity
the
than
cylinder.
Microsoft?
I mean, like an average person definitely does
Yeah.
not need that,
These
but
guys know
somebody who's
productivity.
doing some heavy video.
Hold on
So,
here. Let's listen in and talk about Microsoft. This should be
extremely
interesting.
pleased to introduce corporate vice president.
Yeah, I
of
think they're
Microsoft
they've got a
Office,
little
Kurt Koenigsbauer.
Microsoft
Kurt,
Office
Yeah.
package being included here.
The president of Microsoft Office is at an Apple event.
Thank you. It's a thrill to be here today.
Mhm.
At Microsoft, we're focused on reinventing productivity to help people do their best work anywhere they're working. And today, more than ever, we are supporting Microsoft Office on Apple platforms. And I'd like to introduce Hanyi, who's going to walk us through some cool demos. Up on the screen, you'll see a beautiful Microsoft Word document on the gorgeous new iPad Pro. Now, with the Office iPad, we want to make it easy for
Kind of
anyone to
amazing
create
that
rich
Microsoft kept it a
content
secret. You think of
documents
anybody,
easy
they would be the ones
and
that
so
kind
watch
of,
a quick example here. We can just, with a few
call a
quick
friend
taps,
somewhere and
take this
leak the
table,
secret.
add styles, and turn it into a really, really great document. Now, we want to
Well, this
extend
goes in,
richness with the new
doing
iPad Pro
the
with
big
ease.
Microsoft
So we
Office
can allow
push,
anyone to
as
mark
another
up and annotate their documents
whole,
and collaborate with
other
them.
laptop
And so if you
sort
look
of thing,
underneath the ribbon, you'll see we have a variety of new pen tools.
Well,
There's, different
they didn't need
pens
to
and
know much
pencils.
about the
One's a
device
highlighter. You
itself
see this
to
fabulous new
make the
color
software,
wheel, so
basically.
you can
You know,
pick
they
just the
probably just
color
told
that
them
you
we've
want,
got
and a new thickness
new
control,
iPad
so
coming
you
out.
can
We want
get the
to
point that you need.
show
Now
your
watch as
software
we
on
can
it. We
use
think
the
it's going to be
Apple
great.
Pencil
And
circle
get a
items in our
presentation set up
document. We
and,
can strike through. We can
I doubt they told them the
suggestions,
size of
and
the
we can
screen
write
and all
in
that
large.
stuff.
Oh no!
And you'll
What I'm
see it's
saying
also
is,
great for
like, this just allows Apple to say, like I
Now,
said, this is like a
because
laptop
Office is built
replacement.
for
It's a
teamwork,
light
all of
laptop
these
replacement
changes
with
are
the
stored
screen
in
and
the
da da da
document
da.
itself,
You know,
and
just
can view
Oh,
it
yeah.
in any
we're going to
Microsoft
include
Office
these
application.
business applications. I mean, they've always been
Now, the
good
next
for
thing we want
that,
to do is
but,
add a chart to our
if they're
document.
making it
and so
better
we
and
started the
integrating
chart
the
design.
stylus and
So we'll
things like
take advantage
that,
of iOS 9's multitasking capabilities.
Or, I mean,
With
it's
a
the
quick swipe,
pencil. We're gonna have
we
to
can have
train
both
ourselves.
Word and Excel on the screen at the same time. Now, for Office, the document is king, so having these two applications side by side
Well,
is a huge
unfortunately,
productivity boost, and
these
allows
demos
us to
can be
do
kind
things
of
like
dry
copy
if you're
and
not
paste this chart that
very
you see
excited about
and put it
Office.
into Microsoft Word.
let's kind of jump
Now,
over as they
let's finish
demonstrate
up our
all the different
PowerPoint
ways you can use
presentation that goes
Office on
along
an
with this document
iPad
that
and
we're working on.
take a
Once
look
again,
at the
we use
excitement
iOS 9's
level
multitasking
for
capabilities, have both apps
a
up on the
new
screen at
Apple
the same time,
TV.
and we can copy this
Now,
chart
this is
also
a
into
poll
our
we ran
PowerPoint
at Cord
presentation
Cutters
to finish
News.
up.
Let me kind of...
Now, just like Word, just like Excel, PowerPoint
Got the wrong
has
thing.
great
I
support for the
apologize. Let
Apple
me switch
Pencil
screens
and for
here.
ink. And so watch as
There we
we
go.
can go ahead and draw some shapes.
And we
here
asked
on
our readers if they're
on our
excited
slide,
about
and
it.
they're converted
Winning by
automatically to
far
graphic
was the
objects.
maybe column,
Let's take this.
but it would need to be
Let's
a
take
lot
this to the
better than
next
what I
level.
have now to
We'll
be
go to this
interested in
slide.
buying
You see
it.
it has just a simple list.
Followed
We wanna
by,
turn
I'm
this into
very
a
interested by it
high-impact
at
diagram. Now, we can use the Apple
37%.
Pencil or just
15%
touch.
of our
We'll just
readers
use
said,
touch and
no
watch as
way,
we draw
I will
three
never buy an
circles.
Apple TV. And then 7.5% of our readers don't even think
Let's
there'll be
draw
an Apple
3
TV
circles.
announcement.
And you will see that PowerPoint converts
So, what do you
them
guys think?
automatically
Now that
into
we've
shapes.
been
Now, we'll support shape recognition
watching
for
this
over
for a
20
while, or
different
you
object types. So you can
where are
take
you
your
falling on
hand-drawn
that? Will
art
there
and
be an
annotations and
announcement?
convert them
Won't
into
there?
professional
And how
looking
excited
content.
are you for it?
So this is the new Microsoft Office on the new
I'd be
iPad.
very excited
At
to see an
Microsoft, we really
announcement.
believe
Very
that
excited.
bringing together,
Like I said,
the iPad
does anybody
Pro
know
with
exactly how long
Microsoft
this
Office,
event is? I mean,
the
we're
ink, the
38
multitasking
minutes in. Is it an
capabilities
hour
will really
long? Is it
transform
2
the way people
hours?
work and use
Probably
the
at least an
No,
hour
they
and a
never
half.
really.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they never really say, but they tend to be right around that hour and a half mark. And this one I would expect to be longer if there is in fact an Apple TV included.
If they're not doing an October event, yeah, we may
I'd like to
push
see
2
what it's
hours.
like for creative
But you know, that's all rumor.
professionals to use iPad Pro in their workflow. And who knows better about creative workflows than our
Need
good
to get
friends
Adele
Adobe.
on in the background.
Adobe's been doing
I'm still trying to
incredible
grasp
things
my
on
head
iPad
around
with the
what's
Creative
going on
Cloud
here. I mean, they
mobile
introduced
apps. And now,
an iPad with a
on iPad
keyboard and a
Pro,
stylus, and they got
they're working
Microsoft on there. I mean,
brand
this
new
is essentially
suite
the
of
Microsoft
applications that's
Surface
incredibly
tablet,
powerful.
you know,
It can do
computing
amazing
device,
things.
but
So I'm very
made by
excited to
Apple.
bring
Like
out
it's
the director of
like
design for mobile
it's
apps
really
at
a weird
Adobe,
thing for Apple to
Eric
be doing,
Snowden.
but you know, I guess this is where they want to go.
It is very bizarre, but is a continuation of Microsoft's statement that they're going to move more into being a software
I'm
company.
really excited to show you.
You know, here's Microsoft saying, yeah, we're happy to be on an iPad, and we're happy to be at your event.
First of which is Adobe Comp. And Comp is a design
That's probably their
tool
biggest,
that's easy to use as drawing on a napkin.
their
So by creating an X
biggest
on the left-hand
Apple
side
event
of the
they've been
screen,
at
I'm
like
creating a
this since
placeholder.
what?
We have
Steve Jobs
gestures
interview
for
or
headline
introduced Bill
copy,
Gates in the 90s.
body copy.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
quickly lay out.
That's
rough
definitely. I mean, as
design.
soon as I saw
These
that
elements are
Microsoft logo
temporarily
pop up,
grouped
that was the
together
first image I
so I can
saw. Is
adjust
when
them as a group.
that
So I've
looming
gone from nothing to a rough wireframe in about 15 seconds.
Bill Gates
From
appeared
there, I
on the
wanna
big
add real
screen
fonts,
and
make
on
this
a
a little bit
Microsoft
more high
event,
fidelity.
which was like, you know,
This is the first time on a mobile
big
device
mistake
we've
by
given
Apple,
access to
because they were
typekit
basically
fonts. We have over
giving up
1,000
on
fonts
things and
available.
handing over the
So I'm gonna
reins
go
to
ahead and
Microsoft there.
select this headline text.
It is very
I'm gonna
interesting.
change
It
my
makes you
copy
wonder. I
Ruby
guess
Red,
Microsoft
which
is
the theme for this
their
design.
state plan is to be
And I'm
more
gonna
of a
apply
software
some
company than a
styles to
hardware
my body
company.
copy as well, a simple gesture to copy styles
So
from
I
other
guess it does
objects.
make sense for them to be
And
here and
lastly,
do
I
this,
wanna
but it
add
is kind of a shock
photo
to see them.
from my camera roll.
Well, the thing
So
about
I've got a rough
Microsoft, I mean,
design
they
here. I'm pretty happy with it.
some of the only
but
hard.
I'm
I
not
mean,
quite happy
I mean,
with
the
bubble
main,
smile. I
most
wish it
well-known
had just a
hardware
little
that they
bit more
actually
of a
make is the
smile.
game system
I think it'd
anyway.
warm up the design quite a
Oh,
bit.
It'd be
But
interesting
luckily
if
we have
you
an
could
app for
somehow
that.
integrate
So I'm gonna
Microsoft
go into
gaming
multitasking
into the
mode,
into
and
the iPad.
multitasking is amazing
I mean,
on the
they
new
do
iPad Pro,
have
side by
their
side. It's like having
phones
two
now. They own
screens.
Nokia.
And I'm going to send
They
this
do have their
image
tablets,
from
the Surface.
Comp
And
into a
more
brand new
importantly, they have all their
application called Adobe
partners,
Photoshop Fix.
the Lenovos,
And Fix is a product we're announcing today.
the list goes
It's
on
a
and
member
on,
of the Photoshop
that makes
family
hardware.
for retouching. And it's insanely fast on the new iPad. It can process up to
Yeah,
50
Microsoft's always
images
been the
very, very
software
fast, and
company
has all the
that
features you'd expect
dabbles in hardware,
of an app that's
and
part of the Photoshop
Apple's
family.
kind of always been
But
the
something not even
hardware
Photoshop
company
on the
that
desktop
dabbles
can
in
do.
services, and
Built
Google's always the
facial
services
detection
company
into
that
the
dabbles in
retouching
hardware and
engine.
software.
So
Like,
if I select the
you know,
model's
they've
lips,
all
for
kind of
example,
got
I can isolate those
their
and just
strengths,
give her
and they
just a
overlap
little
here
bit
and
more of a
there
smile.
with other places.
So there's this. So do you guys think the split
Then I
screen
can
is cool?
send that change back to Comp.
I think that's great. That's
So for the
that's one of the
last
main
step, I'm gonna
reasons
open
I
up
wanted
Adobe
a larger
Photoshop Sketch,
iPad.
which is our painting and
My
drawing
iPad's a bit
application.
dated. I use
And
it
with Sketch,
probably more
really
than any
tuned
other
it to
device
work
in
with
my
Apple
house,
Pencil.
honestly.
It's incredible.
Because
And with our
for
new
me,
water
it's
code
a
tool,
coffee
if
table
you use the
device. I
pencil
keep it
on its
right on the
side,
coffee
you're
table, so
laying
when I'm on the
down
couch,
more water and less pigment.
I look things
If I
up. I
use it
watch
upright and
YouTube
press
videos
harder,
here and there.
I'm laying down more pigment and less
But
water.
you know,
And you can see it
anytime
blending
I
in
want to
real
do
time. At
any kind of
point, I can
work,
click
I
this button
always
here
have to put it down and go
dry
to
that.
the
I'm gonna
Mac,
go ahead
just
and
because
copy this,
this screen's always been a little
close
small.
out
Multitasking is
multitasking,
really annoying to just
and then paste
swap
this back
into,
into
you know,
my
full
comp
screen
doc.
app from, you know, from one full screen app
So
to
with a
another full
couple other
screen app. I just
small
never like that.
tweaks,
So this
I'm gonna
split
finish
screen
up
with
this
this bigger
design.
iPad as long as the
And it
price
looks
isn't
pretty
like
good. I went from a
astronomical,
blank
I'm
page
definitely
to a
getting this
design
thing.
in just a few minutes using 3 different
And the thing is, I mean, I've never tried to use iPads for working too much. It's like I can't stand the way when you're using the touch screen, you'll make a mistake, it'll autocorrect, you'll send something crazy out in an email. This one looks more productive.
Just kind of a funny thing here. Surface, Microsoft Surface just hit the #1 trending spot on Twitter in the US right now. And I clicked on it, and it is full of people saying, huh, this looks just like a Microsoft Surface.
Adobe, we're making tools that are powerful enough
CNET,
for professionals,
Engadget,
easy enough for anyone
and
to
the list
use.
goes on and on
This
and on.
workflow
People
is only available
posting,
on the iPad
Apple knocks
and
off
shipping in
the
October.
Microsoft
Thank you.
Surface from Mark Millen.
Ryan, you wanted your blank killer? iPad Pro, the Surface killer.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, they basically
The
just,
last
just
demo,
pulled
I
that off.
wanted to show you something that really requires
Let's
the
see.
incredible
Finally,
performance.
hopefully we'll move off of iPad now
graphics
soon.
for the
Kind of waiting
iPad
for
Pro in an
Microsoft to tweet,
application
welcome to
that's
Windows
pretty
8,
amazing.
Apple.
It's an application that helps to visualize
Well,
human
since they all
anatomy
look like they're trying to
for
play nice, I don't
doctors,
think they're going to try to be too
patients,
witty.
and
Looks like
students
we're going to get an
in medical
Apple
school.
Medical-esque
And to show you this
announcement
incredible
next.
new application,
Well, there's been a lot of
on
rumors
iPad
that the
Pro,
watch
I'm very
would work with,
excited
you
to
know,
show-
like
bring up
medical
the head of
tracking and
design
stuff like
in
that.
3D for medical.
Well, let's
Irene
hold off on the
Walsh.
commentary for a
Irene?
moment and see what we're about to get. 3D Medical. So let's listen to what she's about to announce. I missed who this
In
is.
the average medical consultation, the patient is with a doctor for just 7 minutes, and they only recall 14% of the information they receive. At 3D for Medical, we believe that clear understanding between doctors and patients leads to better healthcare, and ultimately to better patient outcomes. I'm excited to show you how with the new iPad Pro, our Complete Anatomy series has bridged that communication gap. So let's imagine I'm a doctor.
So,
I'm speaking with my patient
an
about their
application
injured
for
knee.
doctors to use
I
this.
can zoom right into the knee area to show them more about the bones that work here.
I see a lot of doctors carry
incredible
tablets
CPU
around
and
nowadays, or
increased memory of the new
some go
iPad
around with
Pro
those little
means
carts
that I'm
that
now
have a
seeing these
full-blown
textures at
computer
double
on
the
it.
resolution of previous versions.
A lot of offices I've
And
been
with the
to
polycount of our
recently,
mesh
they've
also
actually got
doubled,
just a
I'm
full-blown
experiencing
PC in
new
every
levels of
single
medical
room,
accuracy.
I've
in
seen
every
that
single
too.
patient,
Now let's turn on
room,
some
and so they
muscles,
just pop
and
onto
we can
that,
see
log
how
in,
they
and
interact
put
with
in their
the
notes and
skeleton to
access
create
that way.
movement.
But it's interesting that they're
The
including this
quadriceps
here
are being
because
animated in
before
real
the
time
iPad, the
at
big
60
the
frames
big
per
market for
second.
tablets
Just
was
imagine how
the
groundbreaking
medical
this will
industry.
be for physical therapy patients
Windows,
in
back in the
understanding
Windows
and
XP days
visualizing
was
their treatment.
always trying to push tablets
This motion is fully
for
controlled by me,
for that
and
kind
it's
of field,
seamlessly
and
rendered
so
by the new
looks like
iPad
Apple's
Pro.
coming full circle and pushing for that also.
And
get
Bill
little
Gates is
context,
once again
I can
punching a
turn on
hole
the
in a
screen there
wall,
to help
screaming,
orient.
I was the guy pushing tablets 10 years ago.
We've taken full advantage
Yeah.
of the Apple Pencil by introducing
Both Bill
unique
Gates, Steve Ballmer
cutting-edge
are
drawing
throwing
tools to
chairs
our
and
app.
just
As a medical
tearing their house
student,
apart
for
right
the
now.
first time, I'll be able to edit the model
I
rapidly
think
and
Bill
with
Gates is
pinpoint
just chilling.
precision.
I was going to
I
say,
can
Yeah,
subtract
I don't think
layers
he's
of
really
anatomy
all
to
that
reveal the
concerned
relationships
anymore.
between structures.
He's like,
And
you know what,
even
why am I going to drop $1
simulate
billion onto Cure next?
Yeah. Well, this just goes to show you it's not
As a
that
trained
important to be
physician,
first
I'll
in
use Complete
something as much as
Anatomy
it
to
is
educate my
to be the
patient on their
best in something.
Yeah,
And
So let's
the
say my
iPad
patient
just
presents
kind
with
of
a torn meniscus.
just
I can bring
polished
up a
that
preset view
tablet,
of the knee area to highlight the relevant
interface and
structures.
concept
Then, to
really
make the
well,
injury more
and the App
specific to
Store,
my patient, I can take
just
the
helped
Apple
it
Pencil
skyrocket, and
and make a
so
precise
here
tear
we are now.
on
It's
the
gonna
meniscus
eat away at
directly
more
on the model.
laptop sales with this iPad Pro / Surface.
I can
Agreed.
then show my
There is a
patient
point
particular
that
injury in 3D.
you can't be too late to market, if that makes any sense. If you come in too
Using
late along the
pressure-sensitive
line,
technology, I can model the effects
I'm
of
blanking out on the
arthritis,
name of the
varying
phone
the size and the
that I'm
frequency
thinking of
bone
right now,
spurs
but
according to the force
you
that I
can
apply.
come in so late that you're just too far behind. But, rushing a product to market that's not ready will do more damage to you than getting it right, as the iPad has shown
I
us.
can even annotate while still in this 3D environment using our pen tool.
But that's
to draw
why I've
directly on
said,
the model,
as we go in here, we'll jump to our next topic. If the Apple
or using our
TV
automatic labeling
does
function.
not hit a good double, to use some baseball talk here, at least get double,
What's really
preferably a
great about this
triple,
is that I
if
can-
not a home run.
I can actually
Is
share
it going to be
this
too
exact
late? If they
3D model with
try to
my
come out with
patient
another
and
Apple
report a
TV next year,
consultation
are they
for
going
them
to be
refer
just
to
too far
complete
behind to
anatomy
catch up
on
to the
their own
Roku, to the
iPad.
Fire TV, who are really
We
been pulling
believe that
away
the
in the
new
last
iPad
year?
Pro and our
What do you guys
Complete
think?
Anatomy series will transform the way doctors
I'll
and
stick with what I've
patients
said in the
communicate,
past, where
increasing
the actual
medical
device
understanding,
itself
and
is
improving
not
patient
as
care,
important as
from
the
remote
service.
villages to the top hospitals and universities in the
Like
world.
the home run is going to be something that takes away cable. subscriptions. You know, that's the game changer. That's
now
the
you've seen the kind of
market shaker.
applications
And none of the
run on
devices
iPad
out right
Pro.
now
They're
have
truly
got that.
transformative.
You know, we use
This is the
them.
most
We definitely,
advanced iPad we've
you know, a
made
lot of
by a
people have
long
replaced
shot.
cable with these devices, but for the
12.9
masses,
Retina
it's just
display.
not there.
It's our
And
A9X,
today's Apple TV is
third
definitely not going to be
generation
there if the
64-bit
rumors are
chip.
true that
It has, for
we're
the
not
first
going
time,
to,
a 4-speaker
you know,
audio
see a
system.
service.
Full
So I
all-day,
think
10-hour battery
it,
life.
you know, it
Has
doesn't
an
matter if
8-megapixel
they
iSight
get
camera. It has a
a
FaceTime
single or
HD
double with this
camera.
device,
It has
because
Wi-Fi
the actual service
and
is the
LTE
key
networking,
factor in
and
all
of
this, I
course,
think.
our great Touch
Agreed.
ID.
The way they hit a double though for me
It's all made in
is
the most
third-party
environmentally
support,
friendly manner possible.
third-party app support that's
Mercury-free
actually
LED
easy to
backlit
use.
display.
They have a
Arsenic-free
huge
display
hill in front of
glass.
them with,
VFR-free,
we had Fire TV
beryllium-free,
drop 300 apps in a single day
PVC-free,
once.
and of course,
Yeah, they were
that
all,
aluminum glass is
we won't
highly
get into that argument, but Roku,
New
Fire
iPad
TV,
Pro comes in
almost
3
daily are
finishes:
coming out with
silver,
good third-party
gold, and space
content.
gray. I know
Apple
right now
needs to
you're just
be
thinking, how much does it
building that
cost?
catalog, because if they wait another year to
Well, the
come
new
out with
iPad Pro starts at just
a developer-friendly
$799. That's with
third-party
32 gigs of memory. For
SDK
128
or
gigs, it's 150
ability to make
more,
apps,
and there's a configuration
it'll be
with
tough for them to
128
catch
gigs
up. I
in
firmly
LTE
believe that.
networking.
Well, I
New iPad
contend that
Pencil?
whenever the service, if it really comes out, if they
New
launch
Apple
that,
Pencil, $99,
it'll just be
and
huge,
a smart
huge,
keyboard,
huge, huge.
$169.
Like that,
They'll all
I
be
can't
available
ignore the way that
starting in November.
sales of the other Apple, the current Apple TV spiked when they introduced
There
HBO
has
now.
never been
Even
a
though people
product
knew that it was
anything
eventually
like
going to be on
iPad
other things.
Pro
I mean, all of a
before.
sudden they
We're
dropped
so
the price,
excited
they put
about
the
it.
service on there,
We
bang.
created a video
I
that
do
does
think,
wonder-
a bit more
I
about
do
it.
think if they have a service later, it will make a big difference.
I do.
Did you guys catch those
With its
prices
scale,
Yeah.
on the iPad?
with the way you use it,
What do you get? What do you think?
iPad has
Yeah,
always been
$300 more
uniquely
for the
immersive.
Pro than the regular iPad. That's
To amplify
quite a
this, to
you know,
put it
quite a
on
bit
much
much
larger
for
scale,
the extra
we
screen.
designed iPad Pro.
You know, I was hoping for like a $200 more, $699,
It
but $799
begins
for
with a
the lowest model.
12.9-inch Retina
Not bad,
display.
you know.
Yeah.
It's
On an
it's
iPad
like
that
it's a laptop,
remains
you know.
remarkably
It's still
You know,
cheaper than
$160.
and then the Air laptop.
78% more screen area.
If I'm remembering the
Yeah.
price on that
iPad
right.
Pro not only
See if I
Yeah,
go into the
that's
Apple
a
Store.
experience,
Ryan, why don't you pull that up for
it
us and see if they've
enables
taken
new
the
ways
Apple
of
Store
creating
down, and that'll
and
tell us
Yeah,
if
they've
we're. It's down.
They've taken it. Oh yeah, it's been down before
To
the
give
thing even started.
multi-touch a
Okay.
greater level of precision.
But yeah, I mean,
We
$799 for
completely
the
reimagined
iPad
the
Pro,
touch
$160 for the
increasing
keyboard.
the sensitivity
You know,
of
put
the
those two together,
sensors
and you're
and
at the
doubling the
base
touch refresh
MacBook
rate.
pricing.
Yeah.
It's actually
So
the
this is
most
definitely
advanced
a
display
laptop
we've made.
contender.
And with 5.6
You know, not so
million
much a tablet
pixels, it
device.
has the highest
Well, that's how they're gonna
resolution
push it. And then
of any iOS
we kind of both
device.
got it right there, Luke, with the $100 for the
This is
pencil.
the first
There you
iPad.
go.
It's
Yeah,
actually pretty good. I was thinking it'd be
Adjust
more,
the number of times the
but
display
yeah,
is
$100 I think
refreshed,
is a
depending upon
regular,
what's
a
on
good
the
price for that
screen.
pencil.
they really couldn't go more
This
because
leads
the
to greater
pencil, now that
energy
it's out
efficiency
there, is something
and
that can be
the
easily
battery life
copied.
you'd expect.
And you could expect if it's $150, tons of copies would
Driving
come
its
out
high level of
$100.
performance is the powerful
outsell
A9
Well, the
chip.
question is there some type
It
of
was specifically
proprietary protocol that the
designed
pencil
for
and the
iPad
iPad
Pro
talk with?
and to meet the
I
demands of
would
a
think there
much
is,
larger
so
display.
I doubt it's going to be that
Its
simple to actually
size
copy.
Is there? There's not much of anything that Apple does that isn't somewhat proprietary.
Its precise
You know,
multi-touch
it could be
technology
proprietary, but
allows the new
I mean,
form
everything
factor
that they do that's proprietary
while
seems to be
enhancing
cracked.
the
I mean, how
capabilities
many
of iOS
generic
9.
even lightning chargers do we see now?
produce
Let's
a
jump back
rich
as we
audio
watch this beautiful
experience
video here.
within this device's thin
Right, you know,
profile, meant
one last
developing
comment
a
on
tiny
the streaming service.
four-speaker
My thing is, if it
For the
really is
first
not
time,
coming out until
the
next year,
speaker
that as
housing is
rumored
machined
for the
directly
streaming service,
into the unibody
you know,
enclosure
that again, I
and sealed
do wonder if
with
they're
a
going to be
carbon fiber
a
cap.
little behind the
Its
game,
four
because
speakers give
now that
iPad
ESPN
Pro
is talking about their own
powerful
streaming service, at
acoustic
one point,
output
do
and
too
dynamic
many
range that
other
far
options come
surpasses
out.
its size.
You know, Sling TV keeps getting better by the day, and so forth. That
With people using
you know,
iPad in
can they
more
compete with
and
that?
different
You know,
ways,
and I'm not sure
we
local
needed to
stations
enhance
streamed
its
for
flexibility.
is going to be a killer app.
To
Now,
do this,
I say that
we've
coming from
developed
somebody
a
who
new
lived
technology.
in a place
Its
where
magnetic contacts
over-the-air
relay
stations
both
was
power and data
difficult to
bidirectionally.
watch and receive.
So you can
But for
easily
most
connect
Americans, you
compatible
can, with an
accessories
antenna,
without the
get
need
your
for
local
Bluetooth
stations.
or
Are you
batteries.
willing to pay to receive those again?
iPad Pro enables tools
I'm-
and interaction
I know
that
a
just
lot
haven't
of
been
our
possible
fans are
before.
probably going to hate me saying this, but antennas
continues
are dead.
to transform the way
You know,
we do
they are,
Our
honestly.
goal
The
designing
common
iPad
person
Pro
is not going to
was
put
to
up an
engineer a
antenna and
device
deal with
that allows you
signals
to be
and,
more
you know,
productive, more
poor reception
creative,
and that kind of stuff. I
at
mean,
an
antennas
entirely
died
new
back when
scale.
analog, you know, signals died, I think. You know, it's great that they're there. It's great that it's an option. But I don't think any company that relies on over-the-air antennas is going to kill cable
That is the new
subscriptions. So,
iPad Pro, and we
yeah,
could
that's
not be more
my
excited about it.
view on
It's the
antennas.
flagship
Alone,
of
I agree with you, it won't, but in the
Starting today,
future,
this
I
is
think
what the
it
iPad
will.
lineup looks like.
Talking to the
We've now
CEO of
moved iPad
Mohu, the
Mini
world's
2
largest
down to
producer of
become our
antennas,
entry-level
their
iPad
sales have
at a new
tripled
lower
this
price,
year.
just
When looking at
$269.
Walmart, Best Buy, all these stores
Above
where
it,
people walk in
the
and pick
brand
them
new
up,
iPad Mini
this year,
4 that
you
we're
know,
also
look at February
launching
this year to
today.
February last
So
year,
what's the iPad Mini
sales
4?
have tripled.
Well, simply,
That's
we've taken the
unbelievable
power and
growth.
performance
You pair that
of
with
iPad
a
Air
Sling
2,
TV, with a
built it into
HBO
an even
Now, a
smaller
Roku.
mini enclosure,
That's a
which is
pretty good
0.65
core-killing
pounds.
package.
Incredibly
Fire
powerful,
TV,
yet
or
small
maybe the
and
new
light.
Apple TV we're about to see.
iPad Air
An
starts at
antenna
$399,
is just
the iPad
one more
Pro
part of
at
the package, it
$799.
almost feels like.
So
You
that's
know,
our
we
news
never
about
brought up. I
iPad.
wonder if
Thank
there
you
would
very
actually
much.
be a way to plug. Well, no, I doubt. That's not they're going to surface. I mean, if they had a way to plug an antenna into the iPad, into a new Apple TV, but if they've got a service that's going to offer that,
I
they
will-
might do that.
We can't wait to see what our developers
I will
and
eat my
customers
iPad
do.
if there's an antenna plug port on the Apple
like to
TV.
talk about
It will
an
not
even
happen. It's
larger
because I mean, antennas, sure, they're
that
great,
is your
you know, because you can
TV.
get free programming.
Here we go,
it's high
Apple
def.
TV.
Oh, okay. I'll just shut up.
Let's listen in for a little while.
TV plays a huge role in our lives, and it occupies an important place in our homes where we gather and enjoy it together. There's more great content being created today for TV than ever before. It really is the golden age of television. What's important as TV is, the TV experience itself hasn't changed that much.
Hey Ryan,
in
we're hearing
decades.
clicking from you.
In fact, the television experience has been virtually standing still while innovation has been thriving in the mobile space led by iPhone and iPad.
This sounds like a streaming
Today,
service he's talking about.
We are going to
Yeah,
do
it does.
something about that.
We'll see.
And it starts with a vision, and our vision for TV is simple and perhaps a little provocative. We believe the future of television is apps.
Oh wow.
In fact, this transition has already begun.
8
We're
years
spending
ago.
more and more time
Yeah.
on our computers and mobile devices, enjoying great TV content through apps such as iTunes and Netflix and Hulu. Over 60% of
It sounded
the
like
paid
it's not a
TV
service, it's
streaming
just gonna be
video
their
is
app store,
consumed
basically.
on an Apple device.
That
And
may be one of the
all
greatest
this
teases ever.
is consumed
Yeah.
through an app. And when you experience TV in this way through an app,
Well, I think we can all agree that
you
we're really
realize
excited to hear them
just
talking
how
about the
much better
TV.
it can be.
Oh yeah.
Now, you can search for what you want. You can watch it when and where you want. And you can interact with it in incredibly powerful new ways. To deliver on this vision, we need a new foundation for TV, one that's built on powerful hardware, that runs a modern operating system, that provides a new user experience that's fun and easy to use, that has powerful tools and APIs so developers can create apps that are amazing just like in the mobile space. And of course, that has an app store so that customers can easily find those apps and personalize their
third-party
TV
apps.
experience so it's better than ever before. We know this is what it takes. And we've been working really hard and really long to bring all of these together.
Starting with Siri.
Today, I'm thrilled to show you
HBO Go,
the
HBO
new
Now,
Apple
Netflix.
TV.
Siri, show me something new.
Touchpad. There we go.
With Jason Bateman.
With buttons.
Anything with Jason Schwartzman.
You notice the show's only available on iTunes in that.
Let's play Asphalt 8.
Okay, so far every voice search has gone back to iTunes. No Netflix support.
Yeah, that feels very. That feels just like the Nexus player demo.
It feels very Fire TV from a year ago.
This is the
They both do the same
Apple
thing.
TV, and we believe it is the future of television. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite my colleague Eddie Q. Eddie?
I'm kind of underwhelmed so far. Okay, we got apps, we expected that. We got the little touchpad, we expected that. But the voice search, which a lot of hope for Universal, may not be.
With a powerful set-top box and a revolutionary remote.
Well, they've
It's got an
just
incredible new user interface.
So it looks like the touchpad just replaced the
built
wheel.
on a modern
Yes.
OS. With an iPhone, you interact directly
Well, it looks
on
like
the
no,
screen.
actually the D-pad,
We
the
wanted
up,
to
down,
bring
left, right.
the
That's
same
what it's kind of
connected
replacing.
experience to your television.
Yeah, the wheel was
even though
never a
it's
wheel. It
across
was
the
just
room.
a circular
And
D-pad.
to do that,
That's
it
what
starts with voice and with touch.
It looks like there's a volume button.
Yeah.
It looks like those are volume buttons, which means it's
The new
probably going
remote
to
has a
have
glass
some kind
touch
of
surface
learning
across the
capability
top
to
that
control your
makes it
TV.
both fluid and
Or is it a
precise
channel
to
up
move
and
around.
down for your antenna to be plugged in, at least?
We have a great touch experience.
Let me get
And
the fork
you
and
can
knife
easily
out.
glide
So
across
I have
a
my
set of movies,
my
and
iPad
when
for
you
lunch.
see one you like, you just stop. And it's
I gotta
right
say that I think the controller is actually kind of
Now, sometimes it's
dumpy
better to
looking
interact
for
with your
Apple, to be
television
honest.
Yeah,
using
that
your
button
voice.
layout is not slick.
And the
It's
Siri
just
remote
kind of
does exactly
thrown
that.
You
out
know,
there.
You hold down the
It
Siri
just looks
button
like
and
a
you ask
Roku
for something.
remote with the way they got the
Show me funny TV
big
shows.
voice search button right there.
Siri gives you a list of comedies.
Okay, let's see the voice.
You know, you do see an HBO logo, but is that the iTunes store? Or would
Sorted
that
by
bring you the HBO
popularity.
app?
And it comes out layered right on
Probably
top,
the
so you don't lose your place.
It looks the box
And when you
itself
see a
looks
show
clunky.
you
I thought they were
like,
going to make it like
tap,
skinnier or
and
something
you get
like
all
that.
of the details. Seasons, episodes,
So we've got some kind of universal
and
search here,
all of the
or
screens have
search.
been redesigned. They
But
look
still don't know the
beautiful, and they
sources.
focus on the
22
content.
episodes on
Now
iTunes.
today, when you're looking for a particular TV show or movie,
If you are in the
you have to search
chat
and
or the
open
live feed
each and
right now,
every app
jump in
to
the
see
chat
which
room.
one
Let us
has
know
it.
what you think of the new Apple
Well, with
TV so
Siri,
far.
it'll search across multiple content apps and give you all your
Well, it says
viewing options.
they've got
on
an
a single
available
screen.
option on the screen.
iTunes.
All iTunes, Hulu,
iTunes,
Netflix.
Net-
So it looks to me that it's similar to the Fire TV search,
For a
where
particular
these
TV
services
show
kind
or
of
movie,
share their database with
you have to
Apple, and
search
so Apple,
and
when they do a
open
search,
each
they
and
kind of
every
know
app
who
to
has
see
what.
which one has it.
Agreed, but the only
Well, with
place to
Siri,
buy it is
It'll
iTunes, it
search
looks like.
across multiple content apps.
Oh, I hope they're not
and
going
give you
that
all your
direction.
viewing options
Because the
on a
only
single screen.
Hulu and Netflix are subscription services where you can't, no offline play, no Amazon support here, no
It's really cool.
any of the
Siri
other
will search
services,
iTunes,
MGO, so forth.
Netflix.
Yeah, I've never expected to see them
HBO,
offer other
and
things. I mean, there's
We'll
not
be
really a
adding
big
even
difference
more over
between
time.
any of them. Like, I don't
Now,
know
to
how
give
many
you a
people are.
closer
Okay,
look at the new
less
Apple
than
TV,
5
I'd like to invite
apps
Jen
are
Foles
supported with
from
the
the Apple
Universal
TV
Search right
team
now. That's got to be
give
the
you a
smallest lineup of any of the major boxes right now.
It's kind of yeah. For right now, it's not too great, but it's kind of on par with what the other guys kind of launched
I'm
with.
really
So
excited to be
because
the
it
very
it
first one to
without
show you
revealing,
the new
you have
Apple
to remember that they
TV.
have to reveal
Starting off with our gorgeous new
to
screensavers.
these companies
It
the
looks like a
device
photo,
in order
right?
for the companies to
But
integrate their
do you
search
see
in.
the
So
cars
I'm sure
moving?
more will come.
Let's look at another one.
I wonder how much New Girl paid to be
This is
part of this
all
thing. Like how much
high-def
Fox put in,
video
because I mean,
that
it
we've
keeps
shot
coming up as though New Girl is the
exclusively
center of the
for
TV
Apple TV.
universe.
Is it kind of worrisome that their big announcement here is the
slow-motion
screensaver is an
shot
HD
reveals
video
the scene in a
that plays
way
on your
that is
TV?
truly
That's
captivating.
probably
No,
not
just
the
kinda-
biggest announcement.
A gateway in to the
We've
device.
included some stunning
Good way to set up
locations
the
from around
presentation.
the world. And Apple TV
Joe
will
says he's
automatically
not
play
impressed with the
just
Apple
the
TV
day or
yet.
night shots, depending on your time of day.
I'm betting on the home automation. They're going to be like, not only can you watch TV, watch
Okay,
this.
now let's dive
And
in
they'll
by
turn
pressing
down
the
the
home
lights.
button.
If that happens,
So here I am on the home
you have to
screen.
eat something
I have access
else.
to
Maybe the
movies
controller for
and
the
TV shows on
Apple
iTunes.
TV. That's easy.
One of the
Might
great
go
new
to swallow
things
it.
on Apple TV is the App Store. Of course, I have access to my photos
and we've added Apple Music.
I think
Now,
everybody expected
Eddie
Apple
talked
Music
about
to
the
be on this.
fantastic new ways to interact with Apple TV.
Well, sure it is,
And with
isn't it?
touch,
It is.
I can just swipe
Yeah.
across my apps. Can swipe up to top movies and notice the 3D effect on the artwork as I move around.
The touchpad so far
It's easy to swipe one by one.
just kind
or
of
a quick
seems
swipe to go all the way across. It's
okay. It's
fast
there,
and
cool,
fluid.
but doesn't seem
movie
any
poster
revolutionary
follows the movement
than
of my thumb on the
a
remote.
D-pad style clicker or the old
Really makes it
circular
come to life.
D-pad.
Yeah, I'd have
Now,
to
the other
actually
great
use
way
it to
to
really
interact
see
with Apple
what difference
TV
it
is with my
makes.
voice. And with Siri, it's easy to find
You know, another
exactly
note,
what I want to watch.
that remote
Like
doesn't really
when my
look like
favorite
something
actor
you would
makes a
use
guest
with
appearance in a
games, at
TV
least
show.
not anything particularly complicated.
Show that Modern Family episode with Edward Norton.
We were talking about that earlier.
Siri takes me right to the Modern Family page with the episode I was looking for already selected.
So that's nice. Does the Fire TV do that? I can't remember all the capabilities. I know they push like actors and so forth now.
No, you can't search for a specific actor. Well, you can search for a specific actor, but you can't search for like an actor plus a TV show to find the episode with them in. While you're watching an episode, they've got the X-ray feature that will show you which actors are currently on the screen, and then you can kind of dive in that way and find more content from that specific actor. But yeah, from the main home, you can't search. This search is closer to what Android TV has, where you kind of just natural speaking, you know, ask for something, and then it tries to find what you want.
Yeah, but it just seems like this is something that a database connection on the Fire TV can do. I'm not sure this is a killer feature.
The year was 1991.
And for those times when I just missed what was said.
So it looks like you can
What did she say?
control settings and that kind of stuff with Siri also. It's not just search.
Siri will skip
That's
back
a nice
15
feature
seconds
that
and
I don't think any of the other
temporarily
boxes
turn on the
have.
captions.
So they got the 15-second rewind that Roku has, but it does auto turn on
Okay,
captions,
back on
which
the
is
home
pretty
screen,
cool.
Siri's also really great in helping me find something to watch, even when I'm not
Doesn't
sure what it is.
Hulu auto turn on captions for that first couple seconds?
Not sure.
Okay, this looks
believe
good.
it
I
does.
really like Skyfall.
Right,
Not
or
a
Netflix.
Bond
It's either Netflix or Hulu will do it because you can
The
turn
James
that
Bond
option off.
I'm in the mood for a classic. Just the ones with Sean Connery. With Siri,
This demonstration like showing action movies and stuff. I mean that's straight. I mean this to say that they're
Siri,
copying
I
other
can easily filter my
presentations
search
is
based on cast,
putting it
director,
politely.
date, even age rating.
Well, a
Speaking
lot
of
of people
which,
said
my
that
niece is
you know
coming to
this
visit,
device
and I
would
don't even know
just
where to
be a
start,
catch-up
so
device.
Let's see what Siri suggests. What are some new movies that are good to watch with kids? All right, great. Paddington looks good. When I click
So far,
on
I gotta
movie,
say the
I'm
voice
taken to
capabilities
this
of this
beautiful
device are
full
superior
screen
to
view.
anything
It has all of the
existing
important
right now.
details right up
What
front,
they-
That's
including
pretty
where the movie's
obvious.
available from.
What it seems to be is that their
Let's play it.
ability to dig farther down in the voice search.
Yeah. Just like Siri does on the iPhone, it can link your previous searches and kind of understand what you want based on that. It's not just a brand new search every single time.
This
You know,
looks great. Now, touch also lets us eliminate many buttons and menus.
within 3
I can
months,
just rest
this
my
will
thumb on
be
the remote
updated
to
because
see
this
where
is
I am
no
in the
hardware
movie
change for
and
the
swipe
Roku
down
or the
to
Fire
get quick
TV. This is a
access to
software
info
update.
and other settings. Just swipe up when I'm done. I can
Good to
ask
see
Siri
Apple
information about the
moving
movie,
forward,
too.
though. Competition's always good,
stars
as they
in
say.
this?
Well, we've like I said, we've yet to see the
Siri
conclusion
will
of it.
answer
They
on
might
the
they
bottom
might
of the
say, and
screen
let's
to
tell you
avoid
what's
disrupting
inside
what
and
I'm
be like,
watching.
all about it.
It's great for getting
So that was really
in-the-moment
interesting. What they
info
just
like
did
sports
was
scores.
they basically asked for the Giants score. So
Siri
you've
will
got
automatically
basically
pause the
full-blown
movie in the
Siri
background
built
and give me
in
more
to
information
this.
about the weather.
That's something that
And we've
I've been
taken the
hoping the next
beautiful
Fire TV
animation
has,
from
which is
iOS
full-blown
and adapted
Alexa
them for
Echo
the TV,
capabilities.
so they're going to look
Great.
But,
I mean,
you
it
know.
seems like they're moving that way.
It's
Amazon
super
has the
easy
software to
to
do
switch
this.
between apps on
Yeah,
Apple TV.
yeah. I would-
Clearly, a new Fire
Open
TV is
music.
coming out any day now.
Yeah, it would be a huge
taken
misstep
right
if
to
Amazon
Apple
released
Music,
the next Fire TV without
let's browse for you.
Alexa. Now that Apple basically
This
has
play
full-blown
Metalhead,
Siri
and this
assistant
is one of my
abilities
favorite bands.
built into their Apple
All
TV.
right, just a click.
Agreed with you. So my stream's frozen. Let me refresh this for everybody watching. There we
It's super easy to switch between apps on Apple TV. Open Music. I'm taken right to Apple Music.
I want to be able to say
Let's browse
open
for you.
Netflix, open
This playlist
HBO
looks
Now.
really good.
Just not the, you know, I would like to see that work for
So
other
probably wouldn't
apps
have guessed
than just
it,
the
but
Apple
I'm
service
actually
apps. I
quite
hope
a
they show that.
metalhead, and this is one of my favorite
Yeah,
bands.
I don't know if they'll show it, but I think
All right, just a
we
click
can
of the
assume
home
that it
button,
can do that
and I'm
because
back
the
on the
Siri
home
can do that
screen.
on the
That
iPhone,
was
and they
just a
just did
quick
it with
glimpse
their
at the
Apple
new
Music.
Apple TV.
So
Thanks.
I think you'll probably be able to just say open Minecraft and bring up a game. So I would be shocked if they didn't have that feature.
They showed gaming,
Thanks,
a
Jen.
slight
That was incredible.
motion-sensitive
The new Apple
controller.
TV is so much fun
So let's see if they get
And
more
you
in
also
depth in
have
gaming
access
here.
to all of the great content on
I don't
the
think they've said
existing
anything about
Apple TV.
motion on the controller,
We've
just the
redesigned
touch,
all
right?
of our apps.
During the video,
iTunes
he was steering the car by
iTunes
moving the
TV,
controller like a steering
and
wheel.
Oh, did he?
Apps have
Wii-esque.
changed what we expect from and do on our
I missed
iPhones,
that. That'll be interesting.
including the critically acclaimed Beats One.
So far, the apps they're
and
showing
of
look
course, access
like the
to
one,
your
for the
full
most part, they
music
look like the
library,
ones that they've already
all from the
got.
comfort
They're
of
not
your
showing
couch.
anything. Oh,
But as we've said, the future of TV is apps. Now, apps have changed what we expect from and do on our iPhones
Looks like they're
and
diving into
iPads.
third-party app
And we
support.
think it's going to do the same thing for television. We're introducing a brand new operating system for your Apple TV called tvOS. It's based on iOS and built for the living room. And developers are going to love it because it's really easy to create apps.
Game controllers on that list.
We can't wait to see what app shows from Hulu.
Refresh the stream.
They bring to the big screen.
There you go.
Now we've given
11 million
some
registered
developers
developers. Now they
early
must be
access,
saying
and
that
I'd like to show
basically
you
anybody
some of
who's
the
an
cool new apps
iPhone
that they're
developer,
working on.
iOS, can
Yeah.
be here.
Great custom experiences from content apps like Netflix.
Finally, they get an updated Netflix app.
Beautiful imagery and a great UI from HBO.
welcome to the party, pal.
Primetime television, Hulu's from incredible games like Galaxy on Fire, Rayman Adventures, and even games that have only been available on consoles, like the new Disney Star Wars game called Disney Infinity, one of my personal favorites.
Notice that
Activision
these
is
are
bringing
still
the new Guitar
images.
Hero to Apple TV.
That's kind of shocking.
Well, it's because he's going through a long list, so
Shadowmatic.
he can't pause
This
too
is
long.
an imaginative puzzle game that's been a huge hit on iOS. Zova, a fitness app that works with your Apple Watch. Madefire, a
Well, at
whole
least
new
you said
way
the
to
word
enjoy your
Netflix
comic
tonight.
books. And you can even sit
They
your whole
probably
family
featured
around the
Netflix a few
TV and
times.
plan your next vacation Airbnb with Airbnb. And when you're looking for a new home, Zillow. Now,
So they
I'd like to
mentioned
give you some
Disney
live
Infinity.
demos of a few new apps.
I don't know if you guys are
First
familiar
up,
with that, but
I'd
that's
like to
actually
invite
pretty
up Andy
huge.
Sherwood from Hibdale.
Disney Infinity is that game that uses the little figures that let you kind of go in this open world, and that has been only available on PlayStation 4s and Xboxes, or PlayStation's, Xboxes, real consoles, and Wii for a while now. So this is the first time that game is coming to anything other than a real console. And that's pretty massive that they Apple can pull something off like that.
It definitely looks like they are designing this to take on the Xbox, the PlayStation. I mean, a lot of these games are major first-party games we're seeing here. I mean, I'm sure there's casual gaming that's going to be part of this, but they are clearly making a move to be a serious gaming console.
Fast-moving trains.
Interesting that the first game they're showing is basically a game you can play with a single button.
Yeah.
There's no controlling necessary in this game.
Or not.
Well, I've never seen anything like this before,
Still
Frogger.
included all the hilarious characters
Sorry,
you know and
got a
love.
cold.
That
Like
kind
Chicken,
of looks like an iPhone game
Mallard,
upscaled.
Emo Goose,
Yeah.
and Giddy Goat.
Oh yeah. This game is big on iPhones,
But every
iPads,
day,
even the Fire
we
TV
hear
has it.
stories of players laughing together
Oh.
with
Yeah,
Crazy
they're
Road.
getting an exclusive
So
though,
today,
multiplayer.
exclusively on the new Apple TV, we're announcing multiplayer. Now, you can truly play Crossy Road with family and friends. I'll join Tom now, playing as my favorite character, the Mallard. Thanks. We've created a simple and easy way for anyone with an iPhone or iPad to jump right into the action in this new multiplayer mode. Oops. Cooperative play allows the best Crossy Road players.
So they're letting you
Those
use
who
a
are new to the
iPhone as a controller. Big question is that something that's
Thanks,
built
Tom.
into the Apple TV itself, or is that
As
something
long
that these
as one of
guys
you is
built into
still
their
hopping
app? Because
along,
the
the
Fire
team
TV has several
continues
games that
to
let you
rack
do
up
that,
points.
where you can use a smartphone or a tablet or something as a controller. But it's not a feature of the Fire TV
Now,
itself. It's just the
Cooperative play
developers
is
coded
a
that into
lot
their
of
game.
fun, but we've all
I've
got a
always liked
competitive
that
side.
feature. Like, yeah, like if you're playing the jet game, you get like the jet controls and the weapon
This is where
selections and
Crossy
stuff like
Road
that. I mean,
on
that's
the
really.
new Apple
I've always
TV
thought that was really
really
cool, but they
shines.
didn't do enough with it.
Be interesting. This is.
Come on,
I'm
mate.
interested to see if there's a true gaming controller that'll pop up here.
It's just so
you
much
betcha.
fun to push and block your
Everything has
friends.
been the remote.
Well, what I would imagine is they wanted the gaming to work well without a remote, without
whether
a
you're
special
playing the
game
classic
controller,
single-player,
which is what I
cooperatively,
consider a
or
big fault
competitively, we
of
really think you gotta
other
love
products.
Crossy Road and
The
Unity.
Fire TV, they're like,
And
oh, well,
it'll
you
be
have to get
available when the new Apple TV
this
is out.
$50 controller to really enjoy. But maybe they're introducing things that you can enjoy without adding that aspect.
It's great
You
to
know,
see a
charging
classic
more,
iOS
but
game now
allowing
on
you
your
to
Apple
do
TV.
more from the
Now I'd
get-go
like to
without
turn
an
to a
extra
whole
product.
brand new game, and I'd
I
like
do
to invite up
apologize.
John
Screen
Carter from
maybe
Harmonics.
momentary black. X splitter is frozen on my computer. One moment.
Good morning.
We'll get that right back up for you.
With Rock Band, Harmonics brought music games to living rooms around the world. Now,
But I would
Apple
imagine, like,
TV
if you
has
got
allowed
some
us
of
to
the
make
higher
music
end
with
games,
another
something that
passion
might require
the
a
whole
controller,
family
there
can
would be an
share.
option. But then maybe there's a
With
lot
me
of
is Mike
games that you can
Fitzgerald,
use
and on
with it.
behalf
I
of
keep
the team, we
expecting
are
some
thrilled
social
to
things,
introduce
things like
Beat
Farmville,
Sport.
Cityville, things like
collection
that,
of
where you're going to be
games
able to
for
use
the
the
whole
motion
family,
a motion
designed
controller to
specifically
select
and
things and actually
exclusively
play them on the
for
big
Apple
screen.
TV. All right.
So the game they're
This
showing
guy
right now
here
is
Throwbot.
motion
Watch how
sensitive
Mike
with the
hits
remote.
his
So
rhythmic
in
pitches by
case we were
actually
wondering, it
swinging the
definitely
remote.
has motion capabilities.
The
One
better his
moment, I'm gonna
timing,
have to
the
pull
higher
down the
his
stream.
score.
I'll be right back in less than 30 seconds to
Harmonics
fix
games
this
let
little
everyone interact
crash
with
we've
music,
experienced.
regardless of your musical background.
But yes,
And
the
new
thing is,
remote
like,
makes
that's
that
one thing that
interaction
nobody's ever
more
gotten.
intuitive
For all the